Well, Emily is still in Paris and she showcased why she was so good at her job, but that wasn't all that we saw in season 3 of the show. With the confliction in her mind on which boss to be loyal to, which individual she was in love with, and whether or not she should go back to Chicago or stay in Paris, this season really focused on tough decisions and trying to make the right ones for all of the characters. So much so that some hearts were broken by the time the finale came around. So with that, I thought I'd recap, break down, and explain all that there was to take away from this third season. So let's get into it. Here is Emily in Paris Season 3 Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. By the time we got to the ending of the show, we saw that Emily had left Madeline to go back to Chicago whilst she stayed for the life that she wanted in Paris. She experienced some free time being unemployed, and then eventually went and worked for Sylvie under the new PR company that she created. Emily was smashing her job, so much so that she was acquiring many new clients and managing to provide marketing ideas that were elevating the brands to new successes. The trouble was her personal life. We saw that she'd been holding on to a secret, which was that she saw Camille kissing Sophia on the rooftop at Alfie's party, and she couldn't bring herself to tell Gabrielle. But that didn't turn out to be the problem at the end of the season. The real problem was Camille and her decision to not marry Gabrielle during the ceremony. After witnessing Gabrielle and Emily sharing a moment of happiness, Camille admitted that she and Emily made a pact to not date him, denying them both of happiness, and instead she walked away from the wedding because it felt wrong, because she knew that deep down Gabrielle still loved Emily. It seemed as though it was going to be an uncomplicated ending for Camille leaving, Alfie leaving, and Emily and Gabrielle being able to spend time together whilst being able to forget the past. However, Gabrielle revealed that Camille was pregnant, meaning that his life is most certainly going to change forever. Let's break down each ending for the main characters. Emily. Emily's story was focused on conflict. She didn't know whether or not to stand by Madeline or Sylvie, and she also didn't seem as though she was fully committed to being with Alfie, which it turned out was the case. We saw that Emily was good at her job, almost to the point where it was unrealistic, but nevertheless she was smashing it. Her time with Alfie did seem genuine and real, but we saw that deep down she did have true feelings for Gabrielle, something we all knew. I do believe that she did also care for Alfie, but the love, care, and compassion that we saw developing even more for Gabrielle was so much stronger. This season, Emily kept out of trouble, in the sense that she didn't notify Gabrielle of the kiss that Camille had, and she also didn't tell Mindy what Nicolas said to her at the party when he told her to leave. It showed the kind nature that she had, and that she also wanted the best for her friends, even if it came at her own expense. We finished off with Emily, where she was at the best point in her career, had a thriving social media account, made it to #1 on the list, and also had the respect from Sylvie, something it usually took many people a lot of time to receive. However, her personal life, more specifically love life, is where it was left off being the most complicated. Alfie left her following the announcement that Camille made in the church, which I thought was a bit over the top, as she never cheated on him. It was just words that Camille uttered. Emily didn't even say it herself. However, with Alfie introducing her to his family on FaceTime, something he was reluctant to do due to the previous heartbreaks with ex-girlfriends, it seemed as though this was also the case again. Despite the situation of Camille being pregnant, I think we will see Gabrielle and Emily together in the next season. This is a love story that has spanned several seasons now, and it will be satisfying when they are officially together. The final shot of them being sat on the wall, and also the close-up shots of their face when they were inside of the church, showed that they will have their time together eventually. Gabrielle. Gabrielle's arc was that of being a good friend, and also not being aware of what was going on around him. Do I believe that he loved Camille? Yes, most definitely. But he cared about growing his business and opening the restaurant and getting that Michelin star that he always dreamed of getting. Over the course of the season, we saw him flourish within the kitchen, so much so that he got to own a share of the restaurant, rename it after his inspiration, which was his grandmother, and then he was also on the verge of getting a Michelin star thanks to Luke and his girlfriend who awards them. However, just like Emily, whilst his career was flourishing, you could sense that he still had feelings for Emily buried within. When he said, "I love both of you, but I'm going to end up with nobody," you could sense the conflict that was in his mind over who he truly cared about. Even when he was jilted at the altar, the person he looked to first was Emily. We kept seeing shots throughout the season of Gabriel looking like he wanted to settle down, and that his mood was changing when he was around kids. And that was because, as we saw in the finale, he was set to be a father. So I'm intrigued to see how that's going to go down next season. It seems as though he's a character that's going to make a great father, but outside of fatherhood, he's most likely going to have a lot of battles still. Let's also bear in mind he still doesn't know that Camille was having an affair, so I imagine when that gets revealed, it's going to erupt. Sylvie. Sylvie broke away and made her own PR agency, and we saw that despite the struggle that she was going through at first, by the end of the season it was extremely successful. She spent a lot of the season with Eric. Then we saw her pick up her previous spark with her husband Laurent, and it seems as though that's going to be something that's going to continue to be developed in season 4 of the show. Her friendship with Pierre was something that was nice to see when she was sticking up for him. We don't often see much kindness from her, but in this instance we saw a different side to the character, and that if she does like you, she will stand by you. Especially considering it caused her to make an enemy with a giant in the fashion industry, JVMA. With Laurent stating that Nicolas' father, who is the person she made an enemy of, was getting involved in his business of running the clubs, it means he's going to be closer to her than ever. It does also seem as though he may have also been pushy or inappropriate with Sylvie in the past, due to the conversation over dinner and at the opening of Pierre's store. Mindy. Following the same theme as Emily and Gabriel, Mindy's career was going well, but her love life was a bit more turbulent, although she did probably have the smoothest ride out of all of the characters. We saw that she landed a job singing at the local jazz club in the area and had a regular residency, which was a big step for her career. But the introduction of Nicolas, somebody who she went to boarding school with, caused her to break up from her current relationship due to jealousy being present. However, we did see her start to form a happy relationship with Nicolas, despite the fact that he was trying to push Emily aside and resented her for humiliating him. Mindy in this instance put her foot down and showed her true colours, in the sense that she wasn't going to change for anybody, and her best friend meant just as much to her as he did, which I thought was quite an inspiring moment. With her arriving late to the engagement party, we saw her receive the news that the song that Benoit wrote for her had been submitted to the Eurovision Song Contest, and that she'd been selected to perform on it, so her career looks as though it's set to take another large leap in the next season of the show. Julien. Julien was starting to resent Emily as the season went on, and he was getting fed up with her stealing the clients and jumping in on his ideas. Right at the end of the season, we saw that he was drafting an email where he accepted an offer from a different company and that he was going to be leaving. I think he's going to be going to work for JVMA in-house, a company that's going to be an enemy of Sylvie in season 4. I thought this season of the show was pretty good. It did a good job at balancing the emotions, comedy, drama, and also the over-the-top nature that it can include. Emily is a character that you want to do well, but at times you can understand why Julien would be annoyed. 10 episodes was definitely the right amount of time for this season of the show, as it allowed the pacing to feel natural. I think season 4 has the potential to be the biggest yet in terms of storyline, with Gabriel having a child, Nicolas, part of the company that's the enemy, being so close to Emily, and Julien also departing. The rivalry is definitely going to be present, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen already. So, there you have it, Emily in Paris Season 3 Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of this season? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.